Gold leafing can be really fun to do, but it is really slow.
It's so annoying.
So right, Maddie?
Oh my god.
It's slow.
It's
But the effect is really cool when you get it all done. Okay, so but it is pretty simple. But there are a lot of times that you have to go back and redo it, which you may not be expecting. So to do the gold leafing, you basically need to have two different chemicals in these jars here. One is a sealer, and one is called adhesive size. Okay, now the ones that I have right now are these two jars here. They look exactly the same. Now that's a really poor design choice, because the only difference is the word right here and right here. So you've got to look to make sure you're grabbing the right one. Okay, the size, and I'm not sure why they call it adhesive sizing, but it's basically glue. Okay, so the adhesive size is the glue, and the sealer is what you're going to put on afterward to protect it. Okay, now this is also something you want to do as kind of a last phase of your work kind of thing. Okay, but it's not too bad. You can get markers now that that create this effect, and you can get paint that looks very much like real gold. Or you can just use the real thing here. But they tend to be a little bit easier to do this, but you can still kind of tell that when it's been painted on. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is, let's say, so we did this one before already, where we did the texture and then put the aluminum foil on top, and then I painted on here. You can kind of see what happens if you work with the texture and then try to apply the paint onto it here. But if you're going to do the gold leafing, you're going to just take the sizing, the glue, and you paint it in just whatever you want to be gold. Okay? And put a fair amount, but not too thick. It takes longer for it to dry. So you don't need a whole bunch on there, just enough that it's going to stick, but not too little that there's not enough glue for it to stick down onto. Okay? You need to have a clean brush to do this. So make sure, I'll have a little bin of brushes out for you to use, but do not use any of the other glue with these brushes. I want them just for painting or for doing the gold leafing. Don't use any of the matte gel on any of the brushes other than the one that I gave you. Okay? So you're going to put it down, and then you have to let it dry for a minute. Okay? So it gets a little bit sticky. So I'm going to speed it up here. And then this is the fun part. I'm going to zoom in here, you can see it. So the gold leaf comes in little sheets like this. And some students have used them before, and so they, some of them might be broken up into little pieces already for you. But you may have to go in and cut them out. So here's some little pieces right here, and we'll just use these. They're loose and but gold leaf is really cool. It's incredibly thin. Like I can take this piece right here, and if I crumple it, it pretty much just, that's how thin it is. It just almost disappears on you. Okay? So incredibly thin. And you want to handle it as little as possible. Like the professionals that use this, they have special little static brushes that will pick up the sheets of gold and set them where you want to. So you just cut out the sheet the size you want to use, and make sure you cover it completely. And I'll usually take like a sponge brush like this and just tap it so you make sure you got a really good, the gold adheres really well to the surface. And then you brush away really, really gently. And this may not work so well because it's such a textured surface here. Generally works a little bit better when on a flatter surface. But you just brush it away. You can see I did my initials, JP. Okay? And that's how you do it. Stick it on there. Make sure it adheres really well. If you get any spots, it looks like there's a little spot here. Yeah, no, that's good. Kind of clean it all off here. Okay? Then when you're done, you're going to take, again, a clean brush. Make sure you put the lids back on these. Screw them on. Don't just set the lid on tight. They're all kind of sticky because the lid doesn't get screwed on tight. And then it leaks everywhere. Then you put this, the sealer over top. And that helps to make sure everything dries nice and hard and firmly attached to the surface, but also protects the metal from tarnishing and just gives it a little extra protection on there. It does dry clear, and so that the gold becomes shiny again after it's all dried, but that's basically what you do. Any questions about it?